Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb is an action-adventure game developed by The Collective and published by LucasArts. It was released in 2003 for the Xbox, PS2, and PC. Emperor's Tomb is set as a prequel to Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and it runs on an enhanced version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer's game engine. Now with these lack of tidbits done, guys, I got a bad feeling about this. Let's jump into Emperor's Tomb. The gameplay is surprisingly smooth compared to its predecessor, Infernal Machine. The whip is much more useful as well, but still something I would use in a very limited capacity. The weapons are fair, but ammo is extremely limited, so I mostly tried avoiding fights when I could. That all said, there were points where the frame rate would come to a complete stop. And while this doesn't happen all the time, it does happen frequently enough. I would say at least once or twice per level. Especially in the chase segment of the Hong Kong level is where it's at its worst. It's pretty much unplayable, but I powered through it. This really poo-poos what would have been a smooth experience with the gameplay. A lot of the sequences in the game and even levels give nods to the original movies, but they feel forced to me. Where Infernal Machine's gameplay is unoriginal but gets it right, the Emperor's Tomb's levels and action sequences are unoriginal and uninspired. The gameplay is a buggy, unoriginal experience. It gets 1 bit out of 4. The sound effects are great, the voice acting I would say is average, not too much to complain about in those areas, but the music is terrible. Not the music itself, I wish I could enjoy it, but it stutters a lot and goes in a loop in some areas. I admit I'm playing this game through emulation on my Xbox 360, but I reviewed several clips of the game being played on the original Xbox, and while not nearly as bad, audio stuttering is still very much present. It really takes you out of the game. Sound is a very disappointing half bit out of 4. Graphical presentation is very good in this game. The building environments and characters look great. But this is the high point of the presentation, I'm afraid, as the animation sometimes can be a bit stiff and jarring.
Hey!
The plot starts off with Indy in British Ceylon searching for an artifact and fighting antagonist Von Beck. Jones defeats Von Beck's henchman and takes his leave while Von Beck is attacked by a giant albino crocodile. Back at school in New York City, Chinese official Marshal Kai Ti-Chan and his assistant Mei Ying inform Jones of the Heart of the Dragon, a black pearl buried with the first emperor of China. The heart is said to grant the wielder immense magical power, and Kai wants Jones to retrieve it before it falls into the wrong hands. Mei Ying breaks open the Ceylon artifact to find the first piece of the Mirror of Dreams inside it, an artifact that will help navigate through the Emperor's Tomb. So the globe-spanning, Nazi-punching adventure begins that will take Indy all over the place, from Prague through Istanbul, Hong Kong, and many different locations in East Asia. It is revealed in Prague that Von Beck survived and is working with the Nazis to get the Heart of the Dragon.
What? No more jokes? You again? Wonderful.
Yeah, I cannot express how delighted I am to see you again. So much to discuss. Throw him on the train. I will conduct the interrogation when we reach Istanbul.
Later in the game, we get the classic Indy trope of the guy sending you off to find the artifact only to be revealed as the main villain is Kai Ti-Chan, who is secretly working with the Nazis while his assistant and Indy's forced love interest, Mei Ying, is actually a spy for the Chinese government and is helping Indy to stop Chan, Von Beck, and the Nazis. The final act of the game has you exploring the Emperor's Tomb, finding an ancient weapon, and then fighting demons and Nazis. Later, you have to defeat Von Beck in a classic chase scene reminiscent of the Last Crusade's tank chase scene. finally at the end you battle it out with an evil demonic Emperor Chan, defeating him with said ancient weapon found in the temple.
What's happening?
The souls of the Emperor's victims, they've come for their revenge.
Let's get out of here. Follow me.
The payoff to the story being Indy romancing Mei, but then Wu Han, who has helped Indy sporadically through the story, mentioning that they have to do the Lao She job, alluding to the Temple of Doom. And that's pretty much the point of this story, just to have Indiana Jones fight some Nazis in the paranormal on his way to the Temple of Doom. It's a decent plot, but feels very forced in areas and really adds nothing to the overall lore and just does nods to the original films. All that said, I have to give the overall presentation and plot a mediocre 1.5 bits out of 4. Not bad, but far from good.
Lao She can wait.
Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb is not a terrible game, but it is a mediocre one with several flaws. I mean, how could the Collective have messed up so bad where Infernal Machine had given the 3D indie game such a great start? You know, when I think about it, this was the era that LucasArts had started bleeding talent and handing development of their games to other companies, like Knights of the Old Republic with BioWare. They also had a terrible habit of rushing games releases, a prime example being Knights of the Old Republic 2 with Obsidian. So I'm not going to lay full blame on the Collective for this. LucasArts is also at fault. Had they more time to put in work on this game, I believe the levels and action sequences would have been more fully fleshed out. My final verdict for Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb is it's not a must-buy for the collector or casual player, for any system it was released on. I can only see the most rabid of Indiana Jones fans being slightly satisfied with this game. And to you guys, I suggest getting the PC port, as it seems to be the best version that was released for this game. Whew, man. With that review done, let's hope the final game in the trilogy can redeem the 3D indie games.